don't like this quality. The fixtures that are included look cheap, and I'm not going to spend more than blank. When a prospect says this to you, do you agree with them or do you go straight into defense mode? Sales warriors, Jason Forrest here. In this lesson, I'm gonna train you on how to build rapport by agreeing with the prospect or the customer, even in the toughest of situations. You're gonna learn how to agree with prospects regardless of what they say to you. I'm also gonna show you how to lower the importance of their objections on how it impacts you. Notice how you get kind of charged, you get kind of defensive, that your amygdala hijacks you when someone has that objection. So we're gonna lower the importance of that so we can stay above it. I'm also gonna show you how to understand their real problem. What are they really trying to communicate? And I wanna also show you how to show your positive vision for them so they can see it a different way. So these are the keys to turning objections into opportunities and building trust with every single client. All right, I've been there, right? I've been in that situation as a home seller, selling houses, as well as selling training contracts and selling recruiting and selling when I was in financial services, selling clothes. We've all been there, right? Where a customer starts trash talking us, like I'm selling houses and they're trash talking my house. They're tearing apart my product. They're pointing out every negative thing about my homes or my lots, my land, the community around that I'm offering, I'm selling. See, in those moments, I find myself getting very emotionally charged, which only causes me to get defensive. And again, that chargedness is when all of a sudden, you felt it, right? It's like that something flips, a switch in your brain, and your amygdala, which is this primal oldest part of your brain, actually hijacks you. You've seen it before. Your heart rate gets really high and you start to you get, again, like you want to fight someone. It's a primal thing in your brain. Well, we don't want that to happen, because when I get defensive, I don't know about you, but when I get defensive, I become very argumentative. And if I'm argumentative, I'm out of rapport. And write this down. When rapport is lost, all is lost. You already know that the definition of selling is to give certainty plus education with a foundation of rapport. See, so you can be as certain or as confident in your words or in your body language and your demeanor. You can have the whole 5-4-3 script memorized, and you could back it all up with education and evidence and facts and proof. But if you're not in rapport with the buyer, then what you are telling the prospect doesn't matter. So for example, you could be giving them a category 3 message or explaining to them how awesome your company is and your brand is, but if they haven't really decided if they're going to make a change or do something different with like their bathroom or with their landscaping or with changing, if they really are going to go through the hassle of getting a pool, then the category 3 stuff really doesn't matter. Category 3 stuff would be like the incentives that you offer or any kind of circumstantial urgency or even your brand message. I mean, that's somewhat a category 2, but definitely a category 2, not a category 1. So you can see being in rapport with them just means being on the same page with the buyer throughout the entire process. That also means that anytime, like how often, Jason? Anytime you have conflict with your prospect, you're out of rapport with them. So another way to think of rapport is when you're both in alignment or in agreement with what you are talking about or doing at that very moment, you're in rapport. So think of selling as a game where you want to stay in agreement with the prospect longer than they're in agreement with your competition. Think about it this way. If you're selling a remodeling job and you get to spend an hour with them and you're in rapport, let's say 50 minutes out of the hour. So anytime that they had a conflict, I'm gonna show you a strategy to quickly acknowledge the conflict and get back in rapport with them. And let's say you're 50 out of 60 minutes, right? And your competition was only in rapport for 30 out of 60 minutes. I mean, who do you think is gonna win? So selling really is that easy. Selling is easy, it's just the psychology that gets in the way. So if you can win this agreement game, and that's really what it is, then you can win the sale. And I don't know about you, but I think looking at things as a game is really the best way to do it. Because if you see it any more than a game, then you put so much pressure on yourself and your company and just your emotions that you usually lose. I mean, don't you think the Richard Bransons of the world and the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musk, don't you think they kind of think that what they're doing is just a game? It's just one big game, and it's about winning the little maneuvers along the way. Don't take it more than that. Otherwise, you'll lose the game. So let's figure this out, because I think right now you're probably asking this question, which I get all the time, is, Jason, how am I supposed to agree with the customer when I disagree with what they're saying? Great question, sales pro. Thank you for asking. Let me get to that. First off, you don't really disagree with them if you think about it, and you put yourself in their shoes. See the world through their eyes, and I want you to really figure out, do you really disagree with what they're saying? If you really think about it, like check this out. The customer says, man, these fixtures that are included look cheap. I mean, do you agree that the fixtures that are included look cheaper than the more expensive features? Do you agree that if they paid more, they could get features that look less cheap, I guess, so to speak, or look better? Of course, the answer is yes. At the same time, the customer says, hey, this material feels kind of plasticky. Is that true? Does it feel a little plasticky? And the answer is, yeah, it feels a little plasticky. Okay, well, that's true. The customer says, I can't wait 8 weeks to get this bathroom installed. Is it true that it could be hard to wait? Like if you were in their shoes, could it be hard to wait 8 weeks to get the bathroom installed? Yeah, of course, it could be hard to wait 8 weeks. And sometimes it's, that's hard. So if it's true, then why are we trying to convince the prospect that it's not true? It's crazy. They can feel that we're lying to them. So I've always said to you before, I'll say it again, be brave with your mind, be bold with your actions, and be honest with your words. See, I believe in my heart of hearts that you will never win. So it's better to just tell the truth and be honest by agreeing with them. So think of it like Rapport is like a great NBA basketball team. Like when I was a kid, of course, it was the Bulls and Michael Jordan, and I had a Michael Jordan poster, and I was super obsessed with athletes back when I was a kid, right? There's a solid connection, I believe, between these players. Michael Jordan and his team, right? They all moved in sync. They knew each other as far as their next move. Michael Jordan, that's how he was with his teammates in the Chicago Bulls. Jordan didn't have to wonder if one of his teammates would be in the right spot. He relied on them. He just was in sync with them. He was one with them, and they relied on him. See, that connection was the foundation of their success. And without it, the team would miss passes and fall apart. See, in sales, it's the same thing. If you start debating or defending yourself, you break that synergy, you break that connection, just like a team losing its rhythm. But when you agree with your client, even on the toughest of objections, you're staying in sync with them, right? You're building that rapport, or you're at least staying in rapport. And rapport is kind of like a deposit thing. It's every time you stay in rapport with them, you're adding a deposit. You're adding a deposit to the bank account. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to make sure we have lots of deposits for that future withdrawal in the end, which is when we have to force the compromise and get them to do something that maybe they didn't necessarily want to do, that wasn't ideal for them. So that's what it is. Rapport is about working together, setting up the win, and that's all the stuff that's going to lead to success. So the best way to do this is what I call the agree, lead resolution framework. Say it again. Agree, lead resolution framework. Got it. Okay, that's it. So here's how this could play out in real life. So a prospect says, I'm not going to spend more than blank. Agree 1. Yes, I agree that you shouldn't spend a penny more than you want to, because I know I wouldn't. Agree number 2. I also want to make sure that you get exactly what you are wanting and needing based on the problem you are having with your bathroom. Lead. And in order to get the sliding glass door you wanted, as well as the seat, we had to raise your budget by blank. Resolution. So, would you want us to remove the glass door and the seat to stay under blank, or should we keep it in? Warriors. Notice how with the first agree, I started with the prompt, yes, I agree. See, this forces my brain to go from fighting them to staying in rapport with them. That yes, I agree is really more about me than it's about them. It's about making sure that my amygdala does not hijack me. Because if it hijacks me, I'm in trouble. So I'll get defensive and it's crash and burn Maverick. So we're not doing that. So then I want you to notice that the second agree, I start with the prompt, I also want to. See, I start this way to remind me to chunk back up to what we both can really agree on, which is solving the problem with their bathroom. That's what they want to do, and that's what I want to do for them. So we're back now in agreement. Next, I want you to notice how the lead step begins with a and, because it subtly shifts the conversation without feeling confrontational. So by starting with and, you're not directly opposing the client. Instead, you're smoothly transitioning from agreement to a new perspective. See, this keeps the rapport intact while allowing you to introduce a positive angle. It feels less like a disagreement and more like a continuation of a nice sales conversation. Like it's two minds working together to solve this problem as one. See, I believe it helps you guide the prospect towards seeing the benefits without breaking the connection that you've built. All right, your final step is resolution. See, I find this step easiest if I stick to a binding question. All right, here's one more example so you can hear it again. Prospect: I can't wait 8 weeks. 8 weeks is just a long time. Agree 1. I agree. 8 weeks does feel like a long time when you're excited about changing out your bathroom. See what I did there? Agree number 2. I also want to make sure that the final bathroom that we install for you is exactly what you want and we don't rush anything. Lead. And the way we accomplish that is through our certified and bonded installers that follow an 8-step process to ensure that your bathroom is installed exactly how you envisioned it. We find by following this scheduled process, we reduce the chances of having any after installation problems. Resolution. So, can I get the paperwork processed right now or at least before I leave your home today? This way, I can put you on the schedule so you don't have to wait any longer. Oh, and one more thing. I will also let my head of installation know that you would like to be moved up in the event that an opening does come up. See, that's it. By agreeing up front, you are back in rapport, but if you stop here, the client might feel that you're being phony. So that's why it's important that you agree again. So when you agree with them again, you're agreeing with them at a higher level. And sometimes what I find is that I sometimes find I have to agree with them like a third time until I really do agree with them. It's very possible that next agree, I'm still not really in rapport with them. I'm still really don't believe this. We're not there yet. So I might have to go another agree, like a third agree. But hopefully 2 agrees should be enough. So here's the thing. If you don't really agree with them, then you're not being honest and your client will feel that. And you know that, right? You know if some person's just kind of giving you a line, and you can feel that they're not really telling you the truth and it's just a line or a technique. We don't want to do that. We want to be genuine sales warriors that are brave, bold, and honest. That is what we want to do. We want to bring back the pride, purpose, and respect to professional selling or ignite it. We want people to say, you are the greatest sales professional I've ever met in my entire life. Well, that only works if we're being honest and we're being in rapport with them. So once you're back in rapport, then and only then will your client be open for you to lead them to see it differently. That's why that agree step is so important. All right, preparation is everything. So here is your assignment. Number 1, I want you to write down all of the negative things a prospect might say, as well as any other top objection that you're hearing, like the economy or anything else. Then write out your script for your agree, lead, and resolution framework. Then out loud, begin practicing agreeing with each of these different objections. This exercise will help you stay calm and collected when you face these objections in real conversations. And by training yourself to agree, you'll build the mental toughness needed to guide your prospect towards a solution, even in the most challenging scenarios. Number 2, come prepared to share your scripts and roll up your sleeves so that we can work on creating new scripts together in our session. Here's the deal. We are not going to move on to the next lesson until you have the agree, lead, resolution framework scripts created for every single objection you're currently dealing with. That's it. Then I want us to make sure that we feel comfortable with it. We can say it, we can memorize them, we can own all of these. This might be the most valuable thing that we ever do together, so we're not gonna move on until we get it mastered. All right, sales warriors, I believe mastering the art of agreeing with your client, even in the toughest of scenarios, is one of the most powerful tools you can have in your sales arsenal. And one more thing, your goal isn't to be right and your prospect to be wrong. Let me say it again. Your goal isn't to be right and your prospect to be wrong. There's nothing valuable in that. Your goal is to be rich. And if you want to be rich, then gaining agreement with the customer's mission to improve their life and then showing them how they can achieve what they're wanting is your fastest path to being rich. This is Jason Forrest. Push yourself to become a better version of you.